Good morning. Good morning. Just got out of the shower. My hair drying. It's good morning in Cambodia. Whatever time you're watching from, welcome. Uh, so I'm here to talk to you today about disputes in Cambodia because something always comes up in life, right? That's just what happens. And so, what do you do when you're here in Cambodia and something goes wrong and you have a dispute with somebody? Not to the extent of going to court. That's what most people in the West, their first reaction might be, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to take this to court. Um, that's not really going to work here. Is there a court system? Yes. Does it work? Yes, for, you know, certain cases. Um, for example, my friend Bob had passed away a year and a half ago, and the bank wouldn't release his funds to his children. And they had this checklist of so many things. And so they went back to Germany and gave me power of attorney to take care of everything for them. It took almost a year um, to get the money released. Now, a lot of that time was my on the ground footwork, collecting papers, getting translations, um, going back and forth with the bank before I finally, uh, I went to the courthouse myself, uh, and they won't let foreigners file any papers with the court, right? So at that point, I had to get a lawyer. From the point of getting a lawyer, it was maybe 3 to 4 months before we got the money released. And that was really due to the bank's side pushing every time limit that, like, the court gives you 30 days to take a step. And they would wait that full 30 days before they do that step. And then we had to go to court again. And then there'd be like another 30 days before they had 30 days to release the money. So they waited until that like 30th day to release the money. Um, you know, so it wasn't so bad. It didn't cost too much. I mean, I found a good lawyer because I've been here for 18 years. So I had people and resources to pull from to get a good lawyer that we could trust and to do the paperwork. They actually went ahead and did it on contingency, which is rarely done, but that's part of the relationship that they knew me for a long time. Um, uh, so, yeah, we got that done. So, are there times that you can use the court? Yes. Um, and I guess you could call that a dispute with the bank. Um, and because they needed a Cambodian court order to release the money, and we got it. Uh, Another reaction that foreigners may have is a little bit like Karen. Apologize to anyone whose real name might be Karen. But let's say you're at a restaurant or something and something goes wrong, and so you throw a fit and have a temper tantrum because that's almost the default reaction from a lot of people from the Western countries. And by Western countries, you might say developed countries. We're talking the US, we're talking um, Europe, uh, and other countries. Probably not as much Asian countries because they do have a lot of the similar culture about um, showing your feelings and acting out and being loud. Uh, that those things make you lose face. So they don't usually act as Karens. If there's an Asian person losing their temper, that person is probably not a good person. um, so anyway, you don't want to lose your temper with people. You don't want to make threats, things like that. So what do you do? Well, the culture of Cambodia is that you have the country, and then you have provinces, which are like states, and then provinces have districts, which would be like counties, and then you have communes, which would be kind of like the city. Okay, and then the communes actually have villages, and so there's a concept of the village chief, and that village chief has a lot of authority, particularly in handling disputes. And it's basically like a mediator. That's their job, to make sure that everything runs well and runs smooth. And if people have a disagreement, they help both sides come to a resolution. And when you know that about Cambodia, and you don't think of it like, I'm going to sue you and I'm going to go to the village chief. You can't have that kind of attitude, right? You have to be humble, but you have to be able to present your case, right? So the reason I'm bringing this up now is because I live in a gated community. And in this gated community, not only do I pay rent to my landlord that owns the house, but I also have to pay like a home association fee. All right. And so this fee, and it's called a beret, but I'll just say neighborhood, since I know I'm speaking mostly to foreigners. Okay. So there's a neighborhood fee. And I've lived in this beret, in this gated community for about 10 years. I started in what they call a shop house, and then I moved into like a duplex, and then I moved into like a row house or a terrace house, and now I'm finally in a villa, a single family home, standalone. And when I moved into this house, I actually had I had just gotten a really good paying job as a creative director. And that lasted about 8 months. And then they'd been downsizing and making cuts. And then finally it was my turn and I got cut. Okay. So now I didn't have a job. I had to find a job. I had to find a way to make money. And so I no longer, and I was just struggling just to get the rent paid. Right. And I'd pick up some work here and I'd pick up some work there. And thank you, Mother. Thank you, Mumsy, for helping me during this time as well. So I wasn't able to do it all on my own. And so those fees during this time weren't getting paid. Okay. Then I make some money and I pay them for a month or two. It's $30 a month for this fee. It's only $10 a month when you live in a shop house, but it's $30 a month when you live in a standalone house. Okay. So I'd pay 30, maybe I'd pay 60, and then I wouldn't pay anything, and then I'd pay again and stuff. Okay. So now I've got a more stable income coming in, enough to take care of expenses. I've paid them for the last few months. And again, sometimes 60, sometimes 30, depending on what I could afford. And so yesterday I take that back, not yesterday, the day before yesterday, I went with $30 to pay them $30. And the guy that is like the money collector gets on the phone like with someone higher, and he's like, no, we need $180. We need 6 months worth of your fees, because apparently, according to their books, which they only, so every time I would make a sporadic payment, they would just add it to the last date, right? That like so the money for the house, for the fees, are in order in their books. Okay, they're not by date. They're not by the date I'm paying it. They're by the date that it is representing as have the month that was the last month that was due, right? And so they keep adding it there and adding it there and adding it there. So it looks like I haven't made a payment for 12 months, which isn't true. There were months that I didn't make payments, and there were months that I did make payments, and now there's more consistency. So if you look at the dates I'm making payments, you can see an improvement. But they're only looking at like, well, it's been 12, you're 12 months behind, which is not a good thing. And I'm not disputing that I'm behind. But now things are getting better, but I can only, do so much. So he says to me, because there's guards at the entrance and exit. There's 2 entrances and exits, and there's guards at both of them. We're not going to let you go in or out of the beret, and you're going to have to move in 30 days. If you don't pay this $180, you're going to have to move. We're going to kick you out, and you're not going to be allowed in or out until you leave. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. How am I going to pay you if I can't work? Right? But this is their mindset, right? So I'm quiet. I'm not throwing a fit. I'm giving him some logic of what we've been discussing about the situation. Don't you see that I've, the last 3 or 4 months, I've made payments every month. You can see that I'm improving, and he's just not listening to anything. I said, so you don't want the money. And so I just, okay, bye. I get up and I leave. Well, I know this has to be resolved, or I'm going to have to move, right? And so I know that the cultural way to deal with this is to go to the village chief. And here that would be at the commune level, the district level. So nobody in the district office, or the commune office, nobody in the commune office speaks English. So I know I'm going to have that not barrier, complication. Okay. And so I go ahead and I write everything out in English, and then I use AI to translate it. So I don't know how well the translation is, but I figure it's going to be enough that they can understand. I hope. Right. And I get those printed off, and then I go. So this was yesterday. I write everything out. The next day after this discussion with the money collector, I go to the commune office with my printed out story. So I'll read you the English version of what I wrote, so you can maybe have a clearer picture, and also the way I framed it, giving a lot of respect to the village chief, and then I'll tell you what happened, because we did get a resolution. Dear village chief, I am writing you about Barai Sopet Mongol and would like your help to find a resolution. I moved into my current house in April 2023, and I give the address. I have lived in the neighborhood for 10 years, finally moving into a villa when I got a new job. Villa is what they call a standalone house. I always paid the neighborhood fees while I was working, but in October 2023, my job ended. I have struggled since then to earn enough money for my living expenses. My landlord loves me and even reduced my rent from this amount to this amount with our lease in April 2025. This has made it easier for me to make all my monthly payments, including the neighborhood fees. While I am behind in the total fees that I owe, I make payments every month. Yesterday, I tried to pay $30, but the neighborhood representative said that I needed to pay for 6 months, $180, or they will not let me go out or in the neighborhood. How can I work to pay them? He said I would need to move out in 30 days. I think this is an extreme solution which does not benefit anyone. The neighborhood would not collect the money I owe, the owner of the house would lose my rent, and I would lose a peaceful house to live in. I have been working hard over the last few months to increase the money I earn so that I can pay all the neighborhood fees. I started teaching at a university. I have continued to tutor students. I have continued as a writer for a military general. In addition, I am trying to get a booth at the Walk Street on the riverside to sell food. All of these efforts are increasing the money I earn each month. And with a little patience from the neighborhood, I will be able to pay them everything. It seems that every time I pay the neighborhood, they just put it in the book as paying the month from 1 year ago, not the date I am making a payment. So they do not recognize the months when I did not pay compared to the recent months when I am paying either $30 1 month, so the debt does not get larger, or $60 and an extra month to reduce the debt. I know that you are a great mediator and can help find fair solutions for residents of Choi Chung War. That's the commune. Please help me stay in my house and continue making payments for the neighborhood fees. Thank you. And my name. Okay. So you always show respect. Hey, P digits. You always fall back on the crane kick technique, Maven. My adversaries are a pile high. I've got super ugly feet too, so I got that going for me. Yeah, the crane kick that might help in some situations, but I don't think it would have worked if I did that here in the neighborhood. So that's what I wrote. I had it translated into Khmer. I went down. I gave it to the village chief, and so he asked for the number of the collector, and he calls him and he talks to him, and then he puts down the phone and he's talking to me in Khmer. I'm just picking up very, very little, but then I would use Google Translate in my phone to kind of repeat back what I thought he was saying and asking, is that correct, and stuff. And so we got the, and then he calls and so basically he was repeating the situation to me, right? You owe this money. They want $180 and everything. And I'm like, and so then I would say back, yes, I'm not fighting about that. I owe the money. I do owe the money, but I need to be able to work to pay the money, and I am paying it, and so I need to be able to go in and out of the neighborhood. That's the problem, that they're trying to cut me from going in and out of the neighborhood. And so he calls back, and I say, well, I offered, if I can pay $30 a month until the first of the year, then I can start paying $60 a month. And he calls back and talks to the guy again. And then he starts talking to me again in Khmer. I understand very little of what he's saying. And so I say back using Google Translate. So if I pay $60 today, if I promise to pay $60 from today and every month, then they'll be okay. Then that will be the solution, until the money's paid back. And he's like, yes. I'm like, okay. And I say to him, that will be very hard for me, but it is very fair. So I will agree to that. And If I don't pay the $60 every month, then I will be in trouble. Is that correct? And he looks at that and he's like, yes. P digits. Moonlighting hobbies involving safes may be a thought. Saying for a friend and get good gloves. That's always an option, right? Uh, so uh, then I said, okay, I'll go right now to pay the $60, which I don't really have, but I have. So, I mean, it should be for food and stuff, but it's either get this resolution or they want $180, which I absolutely do not have. Right. Uh, so it was fair. It was a fair enough resolution. So I go to pay the $30. The collector like doesn't want to take it right now. He's messaging with the manager or whatever, and they say that tomorrow, which is today, in the afternoon, to go meet at the commune office and do a contract about it. I said, okay, fine, that's fine, and pay the $60 there. And so we'll have the village chief there overseeing this contract that will say that I have to pay $60 a month until the debt is paid, and then back to $30 a month. So we got a resolution. And one of the things that I used Google Translate for when I was with the village chief, I said, I really appreciate your fairness. It's not 100% for one side or 100% for the other side. You find the middle, and that's very fair. Thank you. And then I took a picture with it. I said, I want to take a picture with you. And, I took a picture with him because, okay, I'll change the thumbnail later because that's the picture that it's in my phone. It's not on my computer. But I'm pretty sure I can change a thumbnail. So if I can, I'll put that picture up for the thumbnail of me with the village chief. So that's it. That's how you handle disputes the Cambodian way. If it's that level of dispute, you don't get, I could have been all angry and going Karen, why are you doing blah, 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 and yelled at this money collector, which is what a lot of foreigners might do. But that's not the way. I could have with the village chief, even going to him, I could have had an attitude like, oh, I can't pay that, blah, 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 and had a fit with him. I did not. I stayed humble. I stayed quiet. I let him read things. I let him talk to the other guy. I said, more and but very politely and always with a very calm attitude. That's probably the most important thing, because the moment you have a temper, you lose, because the switch in the brain just shuts off and they're not going to listen to you at all. There are cases where you need to have this like strictness. Let's say you're in a restaurant or something, or maybe you're just on the street somewhere, something happens, and there are some Cambodians that they're so used to having somebody being in control over them, all right? Whether it's their parents or the teacher or their boss or whatever. And in a weird way, they only respond to somebody taking control, right? But it's different than throwing a fit and being angry and being loud, okay? Like a Karen. You don't want to do that. But there are times where you might need to be very strict, change your tone of voice so that it's very clear that you are, being strict. I call that, I don't know what other way to call it, right? And so you're being like that, but you're not going crazy, you know. So that's it. That's what I got for you today. And my hair starting to dry a little bit. Uh, that's good. The fan is here. I'm leaning towards the fan. Um, I get to go teach. It's Friday morning here, so last day of the week for teaching the university class, and then I will go teach staff at the Win-Win Monument. And that's pretty much it. Well, and the meeting at the village with the village chief to sign a contract that I will pay $60 a month, and they will not hinder my movement or kick me out. I'm going to make sure that they put their side on there in the contract too. Not just my side, but their side needs to be in it. As long as I pay, that they're not going to do that. So that's how you resolve disputes in Cambodia. I hope it's helpful. Muffle their sound. Hands are useful. Bad idea? P Digits, I love your humor. Thank you so much for joining today. And hey, Chalet, I'm just about to end. It's not that long of a video, but if you want to know what happened, I guess, watch the replay. And I just want to let everybody know that really love transcends time and space. So wherever and whenever you are watching this, I love you. Thank you. What's going on? It was just a dispute with my, not my landlord, but with the gated community, kind of like you could probably think of it like a homeowners association. All right. I think people can relate to that if you have a dispute with the homeowners association, what would you do at that level of dispute to find a resolution? It's all resolved. It's good. But the whole story, I just finished. And keep those music videos coming, Chalet. Don't let anybody discourage you. And I hope you saw, I did a community post, Chalet, with a meme that I came across that I thought fit you perfectly. I mean, that your mindset, that you would love it. Feel free to download the picture and share it. Here's baby Wilbur coming to say goodbye. Anything new with Chani? And P Digit says that he hates HOAs, bunch of busybodies. Yeah. But of course, here when we're paying the $30 a month fee, it's for expenses, right? That there's street lights, because this is a privately owned gated community. So it pays for the street lights. They employ street cleaners, street sweepers, that every day, rain or shine, they're out there sweeping the streets and keeping the beret clean. And beret meaning the neighborhood. So I don't have a problem paying it for that. Otherwise they pretty much stay out of your business. As long as you're paying the money, they stay out of your business. So that's good. No one discourages me. They couldn't if they tried. Yeah, I know that. But I thought I'd make my comment there for you, Chalet, in support of you. With Chani, there's proof of life. That's all I want to talk about here. I was trying to think if I should do some kind of live stream that then people that I know, supporters, can join, like up on panel. And so like once you come and you enter the panel and you're in the system, then I can stop the live stream and then we could have a private conversation, because I just don't want to say what she's saying publicly. And the main reason why is that if her boyfriend's watching, then he knows what she's saying to me, right? And I told her, I said, you need to call me so that I know that it's not somebody else with your phone sending me these messages. So she did. So I saw her. So she's the one saying what she's saying, which would be a very dangerous situation. But we also know that Google Translate has issues sometimes. And we also know that there's a certain amount of lying that could be occurring. So, yeah. But she could be in a very serious situation. So your prayers would probably, whatever's on your heart to pray for her, pray. Yes, I have WhatsApp. Oh, yeah, we could talk on WhatsApp. Um, and are you still on Facebook? Like I could send you the WhatsApp app number on Facebook. I could send you a private message on Facebook. All encouragement is welcome. Yeah, I understand. I'll do that. I'll send you a Facebook message with the number. Okay. And then, but I don't have Facebook on my phone. So that's why I'll right now on the computer, but Patrick Swayze wouldn't be okay with HOAs. We need to find each other on there somewhere. Yes, yes. WhatsApp is on my phone. So that is a good communication. Um, yeah. All right. I've got to leave or I'll be late for my class. So again, thank you so much for joining with me. And if my information wasn't useful, I hope it was at least entertaining. Okay. Hey, Gibbo. Yeah. All is well. There's a resolution. I'm ending. You deleted all the people on there at one point because you didn't want some guy harassing you. Okay. Oh, just leave me. You have to watch the replay because I got class to teach. Okay. Love you guys. Until next time, I'll catch you later. We can still do the panel thing if needed. Okay. I'll see what's over there on if I have you in Facebook or not. Okay. Bye guys. Oh, there we go. End stream.